Hello, my name is Trevor, and today we're going to be diving back into Tasha's Cauldron of Everything to take a look at the new Phantom Rogue subclass. So get ready to do some ghost hunting here on Rolling with Advantage. Today, as we dive in and take a look at the new Phantom Rogue, we're going to be taking a look at all the new abilities we get at 3rd level, and we can take this. The first ability we're going to get is going to be called Whispers of the Dead. What this allows us to do is pick up a tool proficiency or a skill that we didn't already have whenever we finish a short or long rest. Basically, if we take a look at the idea that you're borrowing knowledge from the ghost or the spirits around you, that'd be kind of interesting. I liken this to like watching Umbrella Academy or something like that, or a character that is constantly interacting with, a spirit around him. It could be very fun, and I think it'd be a very cool way to roleplay the character that he's constantly talking to this other person or persons. The other thing that we could do at 3rd level is what we call Wails from the Grave. Now, this is the signature ability of the class. So what this allows you to do is whenever you use your sneak attack against a target, you can take and basically hit another target within 30 feet of you equal to half of the sneak attack damage. So, and you can use this a number of times equal a day to your proficiency bonus. So at 3rd level, let's say you hit a guy for 3d6, you then can do half damage rounded up, so 2d6 to another target. The cool thing about this is that you don't actually have to roll to see if you hit the second target. So let's say you're fighting something that's easy to hit and something that's very hard to hit. You could actually hit the small target and deal damage to the big target. That's pretty cool. The other thing that this does is it kind of fixes the problem the rogue has had in the fact that it's very good at single target damage and not very good at handling the horde or lots of targets. Now all of a sudden this is a subclass where now we can actually hit a couple different people. Now you are limited to how many times you can do this per long rest, so you can only do this a handful of times a day at between 2, 3, 4 times a day depending on what level you are. But it is a very good ability. Now, I feel that this is good. It's not as good as some other rogue abilities you could get in other subclasses at 3rd level, but rogue in itself is a very good class, and having this ability coupled with the roleplay aspect at 3rd level and a low-level campaign, I still think it'd be a lot of fun to play. Now, where this class takes off is 9th level. Now, I would definitely talk to your DM and say, what's the scope of the game? Are we just going to go to 6th level? Are we going to go to 7th level? If you're going to be playing a mid-level or higher game, the Phantom Rogue takes off at 9th level. Now, Tokens of the Departed is a very, very good ability. What this allows you to do is whenever someone dies close to you, as a reaction, you can take a coin, like a spectral coin, into your hand, and you can have a number of those equal to, I believe, your proficiency modifier. Now, here's the thing. You can, while you have one of those tokens in your possession, you have a lot of things you can do with it. The first thing that you can do is, as long as you're holding it, you get advantage on Constitution saving throws and Death saving throws. Both things are very, very good to keep your rogue alive. The other thing you do is whenever you deal sneak attack damage on your turn, you can destroy one of the soul trinkets on your person and then immediately use Wails from the Grave, your 3rd level ability, without using one of the expenditures of the feature. So as long as you're mowing people down, creating tokens with your reaction, breaking the token to use the ability to kill something else, you can kind of almost like rampage through a bunch of small targets with this. It's a very good ability in the fact that we can now start just using Wails from the Grave constantly. The other thing is I can destroy one of the trinkets no matter where it's located, and if I do so, I can ask the spirit associated with that trinket a question. Now, the cool thing about it, it's a cheeky way to kind of get Speak from the Dead, which is a pretty moderately leveled good ability that clerics have access to, and now your rogue can do that as well. Also ties into the whole role play idea that you kind of speak to the departed. Very, very cool. Now, at 13th level, this ability is even more powerful than the previous ability. Like I said, this is a class that starts okay and then it just takes off in the higher levels. Now, we get this ability called Ghost Walk at 13th level, and what it does is a bonus action, I can assume Spectral Form. I get a flying speed of 10 feet. I can hover, and all attack rolls against me get disadvantage. You can actually, like, vision walk through, like, walls and things like that. Now, you don't want to end your turn in a wall or something like that. It'll hurt you. And you can stay in that form for 10 minutes. This isn't a concentration. You just get to stay in this ability, and you can do it once per day. However, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets as a bonus action to activate it. So as long as you have these trinkets, you can continually to just be in this spectral form for 10 minutes at a time. That is extremely good. Think about how good a roleplay situation is, or an assassination attempt, if you can just walk through walls, or you can hover up to the second floor. That is a crazy, crazy good ability. And then finally, at 17th level, the ability we use called Death's Friend. When you use your Whales from the Grave, you can deal the necrotic damage to both the first and the second creature. And then as you finish a long rest, a soul trinket appears in your hand. So you will always have these on you. Now, the reason that this ability is so crazy, I know it's 17th level, is that you deal necrotic damage to both the first and the second creature. So remember, Whales from the Grave does half of your damage from your sneak attack damage to a second target. Now, when you sneak attack and you do another half of that damage to your primary target. So basically, your sneak attack is going to do time and a half damage. Now, if you manage to land a crit on that, you're going to do triple sneak attack damage to a target. That might be one of the hardest hitting things we see in the game. A triple sneak attack at 17th level is, you're just going to delete targets if you pull this off. So that is a crazy good ability. So just looking at this on paper, I really like the roleplay aspect. I like Whales from the Grave early. I feel like at 9th level and beyond, the class just gets absurd. And I'm okay with it kind of starting slow, because rogues in generally are really packed anyway. You're still sneak attacking, you still got your skill expertise. So I feel I'm okay with it not being like as spike as hard early, because at 9th level and beyond, it's ridiculously good. So with that, I want to give you a sample build of what I'm looking at. I have an idea for a character that I think would be really fun to roleplay. So we're going to jump in and take a look at Zildjian. So I decided what I wanted to do is really tie into this idea of what race do you want to pick. Now, for me, I like the idea of playing this as a Triton. We don't normally see Triton rogues because of the old stat block didn't work for them. But now with the new Tasha's rule, I can go into Origin Manager. I can select this because they get 3 abilities. They get 1 in Strength, Con, and then Charisma. Well, I can change that now. And what I did was I said, okay, I want my point in Con, but I want to take 2 of those points and throw them over into Dexterity because we're making a rogue. The reason I wanted to make a Triton is because I really like this ability that they get, that they can cast Fog Cloud. I think that is super, super awesome. And they also can cast Gust of Wind. They can cast Wall of Water. I also like the idea that maybe... The idea that I had for this character is that this is a aquatic character, and maybe the ghosts that he has around him are the ghost of pirates or seafaring merchants or something that died to a kraken. I just like the idea that he's got all these like piratey ghosts around him that he interacts with. So maybe some good Scooby-Doo hijinks with that, but I think it'd be fun to have something a little unexpected in the fact that you're playing a Triton. I like the idea of a rogue that can cast Fog Cloud, Ninja Vanish kind of thing. It also kind of builds the mystique of the ghost and everything. I think that could be a lot of fun. Now for class, I went ahead and made a 9th level version of this so we can kind of see where it looks like once we get the tokens of the departed. For skills, I picked up Acrobatics, Stealth, Sleight of Hand, and Perception. For expertise at the 2nd level ability here, I picked up Thieves' Tools, and I also put Perception. I like that skill, but I wanted Stealth as my expertise. I just feel like if you're a rogue, we got to be able to have high stealth. And then coming down, we've already talked about these other abilities. At 4th level, the big decision on a feat. Didn't see a feat that really I liked. Now, there are a lot of them out there. I just said, you know what? I want to have as high dex as possible. I want to get my higher AC. I want to do more damage. I want to have more accuracy in hitting my attacks. So I want to cap dexterity as fast as possible. And then expertise at 6th level, I put acrobatics, sleight of hand. Again, you can fit this to however you want. The idea here is at 9th level, we want to see what it looks like. Now, for ability scores, I put 10 in strength, I put 14 in dex. With the 2 points we're beginning up with the Triton stats that we get because of Tasha's, this will make it a 16. 13 in constitution plus 1 will be a 14 for my Triton skill bump. I put 12 in intelligence, 14 wisdom, and 10 charisma. Now, you could switch this up. I wanted to have a little bit higher intelligence and not have the charisma. I know it's always kind of like, hey, the rogue is the talker, but in this case, I have an idea in mind of where this character would be as far as his skills. For description, I picked Haunted One. I like the idea it kind of goes hand in hand with the Phantom. Like, he saw something horrific. Maybe he saw the ships battling the Kraken and all these people dying. And, you know, I like this idea of kind of marrying this stuff together. And for languages, I picked Undercommon and Abyssal. Makes sense, maybe. Also with skills, I took Survival and Investigation. I like the idea if this person later on is going to be able to just, you know, phase through walls and things like that and be able to sneak around, then having Investigation would be really, really good. Also remember, I get to pick an ability, remember, off of my 3rd level ability to speak with the ghost. So maybe what I chose for that is Navigator. You could like navigating sea vessels. So I like the idea of like, hey, I'm a Triton. I would never use a boat, but this guy sure does how. So now he knows how to do that. You can change that up, but the idea here is that here's a Phantom Rogue Triton. You're casting Fog Cloud, Gust of Wind, things like that. And I believe you just take this straight. I don't think this is a multi-class. Generally, rogues, in my opinion, unless you're doing some type of monk or something like that, I really like rogues to be straight because you don't want to slow down your damage progression on sneak attack. And particularly with this one, because you want to get to those capstone abilities, particularly 9th and 13th level, where this thing really, really, really takes off. So this is what my Phantom Rogue looks like. Now, this is no magic items or anything like that. You'll see healthy bonuses to stealth, sleight of hand, and acrobatics. You could change that around. You know, like I said before, I like perception a lot, so maybe having expertise on perception instead of acrobatics or something like that would be really good. But this is a very good, well-rounded character in the fact of, you know, he does what he does extremely well, but he also has a lot of really cool role play aspects. Now, you could play this like super dark and emo, or you could play it where maybe these ghosts around him and he doesn't understand why they're following him around. You know, my buddy Danny and I joked about making a character like Winston from Ghostbusters where he doesn't believe in it, but now, you know, he can't deny the fact that the stuff is happening around him. So I think it'd be a lot of cool ways to kind of tie in a character. This to me is not a wombo combo build where you're kind of like, you know, trying to, you know, pump out all these crazy combos. I think Rogue combos in itself really well, and I feel that with this new ability that we picked up with the Phantom to be able to deal damage to other targets around us, I think we just play this class straight up. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So if you have played the Phantom Rogue, or if you're planning on it and you want to, you know, toss some ideas around, you can always join our Discord. You could also leave some comments down below, and we can kind of kick some ideas back around. Until next time, let's just keep rolling with advantage and keep the ideas coming. Thanks.